Welcome back, Econ students. Today we're going to talk about elasticity of demand. The price elasticity of demand measures the responsiveness of consumers to price changes in the price of a good. So what you're trying to measure is how much do consumers care about the price of a good. The elasticity of demand is a number. It is the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in price. Price changes first, and consumers respond by changing their quantity demanded or not. For some goods, the quantity demanded changes a lot when the price changes. For other goods, the quantity demanded barely changes at all. What determines whether consumers care a lot about the price and respond a lot to changes in the price? Three factors determine the elasticity of demand. The first and most important is the availability of substitute products. If there are many substitutes available for this good and the substitutes are excellent substitutes, then consumers are not going to be attached to the good. So if you're looking at the elasticity of demand for a Hershey bar, there are plenty of substitutes for a Hershey bar that a lot of people would consider just as good. A Milky Way, a Snickers, a Mars bar, an Almond Joy. There's plenty of other candy bars. If you're looking at the availability of substitutes for insulin, for an insulin-dependent diabetic, there is no substitute that's going to work. So the availability of substitutes is the most critical factor determining the elasticity of demand. The second factor is the percentage of the consumer's budget. If the item takes up a large percentage of the consumer's budget, then they're going to care a lot about the price. If the item is a very small fraction of their budget, they're going to be a lot less concerned about the price. For example, a box of salt costs about $1, and it's a big box of salt that will last most people a very long time. So if the price of salt increases by 25%, most consumers are simply not going to care because the price changed from $1 to $1.25. If the price of electricity went up by 25%, consumers are going to care because electricity takes a much bigger percent of the consumer's budget. Or if the price of housing went up by 25%, consumers are going to care because it takes up so much more of their budget. The third factor that determines elasticity of demand is the time the consumer has to adjust. If the consumer has no time to adjust, the consumer has few options and just must go on purchasing the good in the short run. If the consumer has a lot of time to adjust, they can find other substitutes or make other arrangements. For example, if the price of gasoline were to double, in the short run, consumers cannot do much about it. They already own a car, they already live in one place and work in another, so they have a commute time. They can't make many changes. If they have time to respond, they can get a car with more efficient gas mileage, they can move close enough to their job to walk, so they can alter their circumstances and reduce the importance of gasoline in their budget. So, we know from the law of the demand that when the price rises, the change in quantity demanded will be negative and quantity demanded will decrease. And we know that when the price falls, quantity demanded will increase. So the elasticity of demand is always a negative number. So we're not concerned about the negative sign. We're only concerned about the size or the magnitude of the change. If the price change in percentage terms is smaller than the quantity change, then the resulting number is going to be greater than 1 in magnitude, and we say that the price elasticity of demand is elastic. Consumers respond a lot to the price change. So a small change in price generates a large change in quantity demanded. If the price change is a large percent and the response by consumers is small, a small percent in change in quantity demanded, it's going to result in a number that is less than 1 in absolute value and in size. So it's going to be a very small number, and we say that the price elasticity of demand is inelastic. What does this tell us? Consumers respond a lot. Consumers don't respond much to price changes. Price is very important when purchasing this good. Price is not the key factor in the purchase of this good. Join us next time as we talk more about why you need to understand the price elasticity of demand.